Up in Lycra with a sweatband on his head and, of course, the unicycle. Morning, Sean.
Good morning, Rebecca.
I hope you take this in the right way. That's much bigger than I expected it to be.
Everyone says that. That's why it's actually a good idea to bring it in so you can stand beside it.
We're talking about your unicycle, of course.
You've got to see it in person, don't you, Sean?
So in the inside of the unicycle tyre is bright green. It's got stealth written across it. And the seat is quite large as well. How hard is it to ride?
Actually, riding it is easy. Because of the size, getting started on this one is difficult. I learned to ride on a small wheel. You have to learn on a smaller wheel.
And what's a small wheel and how big is this wheel?
Well, the one I started with was a 20-inch wheel, which is really too small. Someone my size would be better off on a 24-inch wheel.
Right.
You can get 26, you can get 28, you can get 29. I've got a 29-inch wheel with a knobbly tyre that I use for off-road riding. This one, as you can see, because of the size and the fact that there's no gearing on, it's just one gear. Those cranks are bolted onto the hub.
It never even occurred to me that a unicycle would have gears, but go on. How big is this one?
This is a 36-inch wheel. So this is a Nimbus Oracle 36, a unicycle designed for long-distance riding.
Sean, I have a question for you.
Yeah?
Why?
Look, the real answer for that is that I used to do a lot of running. And about 15 years ago, I totaled my right ankle and I had to stop suddenly. I went from running about 50 to 70 kilometres a week, training for marathon, to sitting in a hospital waiting for orthopaedic surgery. And then I used to run from Woolloongabba to the city, so 2 5-kilometre runs a day, pretty good. I was in pretty good shape. I was enjoying myself. Suddenly I had to ride a bike. And 5 kilometres is trivial on a bike. But this is a better exercise ride. 5 kilometres on this from Woolloongabba to the city, and it's actually a really pleasant ride. But you know what the best part is? It's fun.
It's certainly a talking point.
I know, it does get attention, and sometimes the attention can wear a little bit thin, but then every now and then I'll ride past somewhere with windows like the ABC studio and I see my reflection. And believe it or not, I don't see a lot of unicyclists because I'm usually on my own.
I know, you are. You're like a rare species in the city. Now, this unicycle is not the one. Like, I don't think I saw you, even though we're sort of in the territory that we're talking about. You ride from Woolloongabba to the city.
Yeah.
I was in South Brisbane when I saw what I understand to be called a giraffe.
High-rise one with a chain going from the pedals down to the wheel.
That's the one.
Yeah.
A high-rise unicycle. Zonks?
A high-rise unicycle.
I've been calling it double-decker. A high-rise unicycle.
Well, the term is usually a giraffe unicycle.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not that guy, or you are?
I'm not that guy.
You're not that guy.
I have ridden a giraffe. Someone brought one along to a session a few years ago. We were mucking around. I managed to get onto it and ride it. It's a long way down in terms of commuting. It's not terribly practical. I'm more into long distance and touring. I've done a lot of touring now and I'm thoroughly enjoying it, so I'm more into just riding along, enjoying the trails, enjoying the scenery.
Did anyone come up to you and say, hey, there's someone on the ABC who's chasing you, the bloke on the unicycle?
Yeah, I've had a couple of people, because I'm on the bike path and a number of cyclists go past. Not every cyclist goes past. Some of them I go past them.
Oh.
Not that I'm competitive.
Yeah. What is actually harder, going uphill or downhill? Does it have brakes?
This one does have a brake. There's a hydraulic disc brake on that one, but it's a question I get asked a lot, and the answer is so obvious that I think everyone misses it. It's harder to go uphill.
Zonks, I was going to dare you to try and get on Sean's unicycle this morning, but I'm taking a step back because
we can arrange it. What you do is you get two people, park their feet either side to lock the wheel into place, and you can get up and you can actually see what it's like from the riding position. But it tends to freak people out. They get up there for a while now, they get a very, very strange expression on their face.
Yeah, because I feel like
I've got strange expressions on my face all the time,
Sean. How can I ask this delicately? Sean, you're a man. You've got the anatomy of a man.
Yes.
You've got no handlebars really to lean on. How comfortable is it to sit on a unicycle?
I'm looking at a set of handlebars right there.
Those tiny
That's what that
little
thing
things?
is, yeah. Well, because you can't stop pedalling, you can't actually just stand up in the pedals and have a bit of a stretch.
Yes.
So the bars are there so that when you're on flat ground, you can just lean on there, take your weight out of the saddle a bit and have a bit of a wriggle.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's having a wiggle right now as he does it.
I know, I'm getting into the mood, so I'm channeling the unicycle.
And is this just a thing domestically at home, or have you packed up the unicycle and travelled the world and gone on those big biking expeditions, but just on one wheel, Sean?
Yes. All my riding overseas has been on the unicycle.
Where to?
Well, I started off in New Zealand. When I first started riding, I got in touch with a chap from New Zealand called Ken Louie, and he gave me some tips on it because I was trying to learn on my own. I had no information. All I had was a unicycle, and I thought, I'm going to learn to ride this. But took it its time. Anyway, gave me a few tips, got me going, started riding this 20-inch wheel to work, and in the previous year, Ken had joined some other riders on a tour of the Alps. And he sent me a website with some photos from this tour. And I'm looking at these photos of this beautiful scenery and these people riding around having a good time. And I just thought, man, that looks like fun. And then about a month later, he announces he's organising a tour of the South Island, New Zealand. And I'm thinking, oh, God, what do? I can't even ride properly. I don't have a 36-inch unicycle, but I want to do this. So I ended up getting a unicycle. I thought, okay, I'm going to do it. There were a couple of days on that tour which were over 100 kilometres long, so I thought, I'm going to have to be able to go long distance on this. And Brisbane to Gold Coast was coming up, so I thought, I need to be able to get from Brisbane to Gold Coast to prove that it's viable to do this tour in February, 4 months later. And at that point, I couldn't get started properly. I used to have to grab a pole, stand up, get onto it, get balanced, then lean forward and start pedalling. Which is very difficult when you're out in the open and there's no poles or traffic lights around to lean on. So my father came along with me, and what he would do is he'd park his bike beside me, lock his brakes on. I'd use his shoulder, jump up and get balanced, and then I'd start riding.
Oh, that's kind of sweet.
Yeah, it was good. It took 8 hours to get from Brisbane to Gold Coast because I used to have to stop every half hour for a bit of a rest. But I got down there and I thought, okay, I'm in. I'm going to do this tour. And then I did the tour of New Zealand. That was really my first exposure to media interviews because Ken had done a media release announcing what we were going to do. And we had about 12 unicyclists gathering in New Zealand, riding 900 kilometres over 16 days. And I walked into Dunedin and were basically told, oh, great, you're here. We've got a photo shoot up at Baldwin Street with a local newspaper.
Everyone loves a unicycle.
I know, it does attract attention.
What is the collective noun for unicyclists?
You just said it, unicyclist.
Oh, we need something better than that. You need a descriptor, like I don't know, a single wheel of a roll of unicyclists. Like if it's a peloton of cyclists.
You can have a peloton on one wheel. You don't have to have them on two wheels.
Yeah, don't be realist.
Just the training wheel and upgrade.
Being a bit realist, wasn't I? Yeah, sorry.
A little realist.
Well,
yeah.
or was I? Or am I actually creating a distinct acknowledgement of the unicyclists of the world?
What you can do is say that unicyclists are really well-balanced people.
Sean, thank you very much for coming in this morning.
You sure you don't want to jump on and have a look from the saddle?
Can I give a crack during the 7 o'clock news?
You can do that. I'll hang around.
Oh, be careful.
You're going to have to get the photos ready for this one.
I've got relatively tight jeans
yeah,
on.
I know.
That's
I was
probably
going to say, you need to be wearing some lycra. And can I just give a shout out to the bloke who is on the giraffe, the high-rise unicycle in Brisbane. Where are you? Who are you? We've had Sean Bennett in studio now with his unicycle tales. We need to meet the giraffe rider.
The mystery giraffe man. Sean, thank you very much. ABC Radio Brisbane, Craig Zonka, Rebecca Livingston with you. 9 to 7.